Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, where we sit down and talk with interesting professional guitar players, uncover their stories, and discover what makes them tick. If you love guitar, music, and the backstory of people's lives, stick around. You're in the right place. Hi, this is Craig. Just want to let you know you can now advertise here on Everyone Loves Guitar podcast. For more information, go to everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. Hey, everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar. We've got a really cool, interesting guest with Lisa Bouchelle, and I also like her because she's from the Northeast. She started singing at the age of 4. Amidst growing up in a fairly stressful environment. Her mom was an alcoholic, and her dad, who had to leave school in the 8th grade, worked 3 jobs just so the family can get by. Your dysfunction might beat my dysfunction, you know? At 13, I don't know, maybe not. At 13, she received a guitar for Christmas and began taking lessons, and she eventually began playing original songs in clubs around her hometown of Trenton, New Jersey. On her first national tour, she opened for Blues Traveler. Later on in 2017, she released a song she recorded with John Popper from Blues Traveler. This song, called Only the Tequila Talkin', has garnered over 2 million streams on Spotify, and it's a really cool, fun song. You got to check it out. In 2012, Lisa created and became the host of the TV show called Rockstar Kitchen, in which she chats with platinum-selling artists in her kitchen, talking about music and touring while cooking up their favorite dishes. Guests included Foreigner, Eddie Money, Chubby Checker, Lita Ford, Tonic, Candlebox, Night Ranger, and many others. The show became the top-rated original content show on the Comcast network in the Philadelphia region. Lisa also made an appearance on the hit TV show Gossip Girl and has a starring role in an off-Broadway production in her spare time, I guess. Lisa's background has made her very conscious of the plight of others who have difficult circumstances. Along those lines, she wrote and co-produced a charity single called Restore the Shore, which benefited the victims of Hurricane Sandy and featured top musical talents like Southside Johnny, Glenn Burtnick of Styx, Gary U.S. Bonds, Steve Forbert, and many other prominent Jersey Shore musicians. Lisa also works with several major charity musical groups. One is a nationally known group called Holiday Express, which plays over 50 shows every November and December at homeless shelters for AIDS patients, handicapped children, and other disadvantaged individuals. Another is a Philadelphia chapter of Musicians on Call, for which she goes once a month to an area children's hospital, singing for the children that are suffering from serious diseases. To date, Lisa's released 3 national records, 2 albums and an EP, and 5 independent records as well. Lisa, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks for having me on your show. This is great.
Very cool. Man, you don't have much free time.
Well, yeah, I guess I kind of don't. I mean, I love what I do. So, I love, even if I did have more free time, I'd probably fill it up with something music related.
That's very cool. So in your bio, as I alluded to earlier, you mentioned growing up in a fairly dysfunctional upbringing, yet, and I didn't put this part in, you said that when you sang, it seemed to bring about a sense of calm to the family. And I was curious how you thought this impacted you moving forward, both musically and in your personal life.
I feel like that impacted everything that I do. It's just woven into the fabric of what I am, what I've become. I feel like it gave me a sense of purpose. So many kids, so many people search for a sense of purpose and a calling. And to be hit with that so young, at such a young age, and have that direct, impact, like where I sang and immediately everything just changed in the room for better. And I started doing that, and it always was pretty much the same reaction. And it just gave me a sense of purpose. And I think it's made me what I am. I constantly just make my decisions of how I want to, run my career, what I want to do in my life to bring about happiness and bring people together. I'm not competitive with my music. I don't believe in competitive music and all that. I love sports, but not for music. For music, to me, is bring people together. And I think that's shaped my whole career.
That's great. That's really cool. Yeah, I would imagine in that situation, that is a natural outcome of that from how you described it. Very cool. you're playing locally, and then all of a sudden, I shouldn't say all of a sudden because I know it wasn't all of a sudden. Yeah, I know people always say, "Man, how isn't it amazing?" Like nobody realizes, like they think overnight, overnight for the last 10 years on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then I had to clean the place on Sundays. Then after playing locally, though, when you get your first national tour, you're opening for Blues Travel, which is pretty cool. How did that come together?
I've been working with my management company for a while and wanting to get a tour so bad. And, even my local gigs were getting better. I was actually down the casino when I got the call. I play at Atlantic City like once a week at Golden Nugget Big Stage. And, things were starting to get better. But I got the call on a Wednesday. And my manager said, you need to be in New Orleans on a Saturday. But I had never toured before. And I was like, well, do I have a bus? Do I have a budget? No, you don't. You just get your car. It's like, okay, so I started putting some canned goods, can opener in my trunk and throw some costumes, some outfits in there and stuff. And, run around, cancel gigs. I'm subbing them out. And then I get in my car at like 6 a.m, which to me is like a bedtime. And I go to pull out. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And I just started shaking. I'm like, what am I doing? I was going out for 8 weeks by myself in my car. With people I never met, Blues Traveler. I show up down there in New Orleans by Saturday, and they were so kind to me. I think I was like melting down on Decatur Street. I walked in the House of Blues, and they saw me. They're like, Jersey girl, and they embraced me. They ended up making friends with me. I was out on stage with them to sing a song with them pretty much every night. It was a terrific first tour experience for me.
That's great. That's like, was there a who were they your band?
No, I'm sorry. I was opening for them.
But so just you solo acoustic?
Solo acoustic, yeah. Actually, it was offered to me with my duo partner, but he decided, like duo partner locally at the time, we were always playing together. He just decided that wasn't for him. And he kind of took his career in a different path. I wanted to do it, get out there, tour, Yeah. Very talented guy. He didn't want to go that path. So I was like shocked at first. I mean, now I sound calm about it. I was like, like when he wasn't going to go with it.
Yeah, I would imagine. So,
baptism by fire. I hopped in that car, and when I came back, Craig, I played 10 times better on guitar, sang, because I just had to do it, every night. And I'm glad it happened, but at first it was scary.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds just driving all the way down there by yourself, not even know where the hell you're going is.
Oh, I drove 12,000 miles in 8 weeks by myself. And John Popper was like, you're gonna get found in a ditch dead. I'm like, oh, you're really making me feel better.
Holy shit.
He was so funny.
Wait a minute. Let me process that. 12,000 miles in 8 weeks. That's like 1,500 or 1,250 miles a week.
If you start doing that, breaking it down. If we on tour together, we're not breaking it down like that.
Yeah, 1,500 miles a week. That's like serious road mileage. Wow. Well, good for you. That's really good. You must have felt really like proud of yourself when it was done, and deservedly so. Proud of myself. Good for you. That's great. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So then years later, you have a hit song basically with John Popper. Did that, if someone would have told you, I always have this expression, you can't connect the dots moving forward. So like, I'm sure you didn't sit there thinking, oh, John, we're going to have a hit song one day. When that came, what was the...
No. I mean, I knew I'd have hit songs. This should be the first one.
Right.
And I figured John and I would stay to be friends. He's a great mentor, and we have. But,
right.
I guess you never know who it's going to be with. That's the thing about this business. You just never know. You get surprised, good and bad surprises all the time.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's great. That's a really nice story. So let's talk about Rockstar Kitchen. First of all, I assume you're into cooking.
I like to cook. Yeah, I'm getting better at it. I'm pretty good. I have my specialty dishes.
All right. Well, now that you brought it up, what are your specialty dishes?
I like to make pork. I don't eat a lot of meat, but I like to make pork chops Creole, which I grew up making, and I'm really good at that. Now, I do eat fish. Salmon, I'm great at. I mean, that's one of my specialty dishes is my salmon. I make a great eggplant parm. I do a lot of stuff with fish and veggies because that's mainly what I eat. So I do a variety of things.
You'd be shocked how many guitar players their hobby is cooking. Like
I was shocked.
25%,
Oh yeah. My TV show, Rockstar Kitchen, it's like we have all famous people in there. And like the guy, Kelly from Foreigner and Chubby Checker and Bowling for Soup. We had like so many people, Lita Ford, and they all come in and they all cook. It's like amazing. They're very creative.
So how'd you come up with the idea for the show? And then more difficult, how do you go about selling getting this show, to think of a show, it's like writing a book, or, to me, it's harder than writing a book, but how did, walk me through the whole process?
Well, I was out recording in Seattle once again with John Popper, and I was recording some tunes, and we actually were in a studio that had a kitchen. So we were out there having a snack or whatever. We noticed they actually had stove, everything like that. We're like, I wonder if people cook meals here. So we took a selfie or something. We were acting like we were putting something in the oven, sending it to our management. I don't know. We're being real goofy. And I thought, hey, what a great idea. Why don't we have a show where famous people come on, they bring their favorite recipes or something. And then when it's in the oven cooking, we're sit around and play songs that you normally hear blown up, or just sit down because you know how the party always ends up in the kitchen. Yeah. Just sit there and play. So it was just a great idea. So I thought it was. So I told my management about it. It takes a long time. Things take a long time. And people just a word of wisdom in case anyone's doing something like this. If you have a dream or an idea, please know it will take a long time. I'm sure it's oh God, yeah. Yeah, people are going to tell you this and that. But it took us a year and a half, my management company, of shopping it to get it on that network, Comcast network, where it airs right now, Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m., Sundays at 8 p.m. on Comcast network. And we ended up getting the highest ratings for original content on that syndicated network. So that was a really good thing, but it didn't happen overnight. And I think I just learned from that. I had that concept, and we ended up collaborating with one of the producers of Rock of Ages on Broadway, and also the movie he was involved in. And we ended up collaborating with him. And we were out one night after seeing a Rock of Ages performance, a bunch of us, and I met Jeff, and what I learned was I just spoke up and said something. I have this concept, and he got in on it. And then we did our pilot, and the financing was there. And like I said, we just shopped it for a year and a half. So even though it got great ratings, it wasn't like the network goes, "Oh my God, this is amazing."
We've been waiting for this. Yeah.
It flew. It flew. It had wings. But yeah, so that's how that all came about.
Did you were you anxious to mention it to the guy from Rock of Ages, or did you know, shit, this is my chance? That it's no, you weren't.
I was scared like everybody is. I felt like a little bit like an ass. I mean, you're out, you're having drinks and snacks. My manager was one of my management company people were working in the show. He played bass, and we all went out after. And he was talking about something that reminded me of it. I didn't have it on my agenda or anything. I was just sitting around talking to people. And all of a sudden I said, you should mention, this is me to me, you should mention the Rockstar Kitchen idea. And I said, nah. And I don't know. I think especially females, we're scared sometimes. I mean, I'm fierce and I get scared. So finally I just said, Lisa, just say it. So I told him, I was like, that's a great idea. And I'm so glad that I told him.
Yeah.
His involvement in it was really important.
That's so cool. Yeah. So you changed your life basically.
Well, yeah.
That's really cool.
Definitely. Think about all the things that change our lives. That's why, to be scared is probably a bad thing. I mean, sometimes I open my mouth and I shouldn't. That happened this week too. But usually if you open your mouth,
if you open your mouth regularly, just statistically, sometimes it's going to be the wrong thing. That's just the way it works, from a numbers standpoint, can't avoid that. That's great though. That's really cool. So what were some of the cooler guests you had on the show? You mentioned them, and tell me some cool stories, and who was fun to cook with and jam with.
Wow. Okay. So I mentioned playing with Foreigner. It was an amazing episode because Kelly Hansen can sing at 10 in the morning like a bird, and he sounds so much makes it sound his own, but it's so much like the original version of Foreigner back when, because sometimes you get a new singer and it's just not the same thing, but he really works great with the band. They were super cool. I got to harmonize with them, singing songs that are normally totally full production, just sitting in my kitchen. Besides, Kelly is very culinarily, is that a word, inclined. He can cook really well. His food was awesome. He made a Chilean sea bass and, over pasta, and it was super healthy and super delicious. So they were really, really cool. And then Chubby Checker was probably a super funny story because he came in and he brought in all this stuff and he was telling us all these stories about how to cook in peanut oil. And we were doing like the, milkshakes, fries, burgers, like stuff like a, 50s kind of stuff, like a 50s drive-in would have.
He's up there in age too. How old is?
Oh yeah, but he doesn't look it or act it or sound it.
That's great.
He must have like made a pact with the devil.
Hey, God bless him.
He did something, found the fountain of youth. But anyway, he almost set the place on fire.
Nice.
So we were, took him back. We were in a building and, the smoke started going through the vents and the superintendent came up and he goes, people are taking their pets out and their animals out and something's wrong. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, we're really sorry. All of a sudden, he doesn't know Chubby Checker's in there. He doesn't know what we're doing in there. Chubby Checker, right, comes out all like, coiffed and little checkered leather boots and all this. And he comes out and he says, well, we understand, we made a mistake, but you don't have to get rude about it.
Okay.
I was like, why is Chubby Checker lecturing me? Why is my building burning? It was so funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. But we had a lot of bowlings for soup were great. They just kept getting beers out of the refrigerator and they cooked like a Tex-Mex Italian chicken parm. What do you think?
Tex-Mex chicken parm. Okay.
Yeah, it was quite the combination of food, but it actually was great fusion. But we just had such good times. Lita Ford, it was cool having another chick a rock chick on the show, and we jammed and had a great time. And it was just, all different kinds of personalities.
Did you have, I thought I read Night Ranger was on there too?
Night Ranger was on there. Oh my God, that was great.
Who was on? Was Kelly Kagi on with you?
No, Joel Hoekstra.
Okay. Oh yeah, Joel. I interviewed Joel.
Yeah, it was amazing though. We really had fun. We cooked I think it was some kind of, I want to say a goulash or something. I'm trying to think of what we cooked. I can't remember. We had a really good time. See, our voices blended and, just these combinations of playing with these great players. And I just learned so much. Like you learn about cooking and about playing when you're on there.
Yeah, well, that guy in particular, he's a very talented guy. I mean,
yes.
Incredibly talented, super he's got the whole business really down well. He's a very professional guy. And,
yes.
Very smart dude.
I love that.
Are you working on anything now that you're excited about? I know you have a single that you just talked about before we started.
Yeah, my song, I Believe, that I wrote about believing in your hopes and dreams. It's a very positive message. I loved the song. I wrote it, just came to me, and I did an acoustic version of it actually in California that is up on, I know it's up on YouTube. I've gotten a lot of good responses. Thanks to everybody who's been checking that out. And I'm glad that they're touched by the song. We decided to take it in the studio and just blow it up with big modern production. It's really something. It's epic. And we were working on that this whole week, some 13 days in the studio, 13 hours in the studio a day sometimes. And I hear it, I just get chills, and it just feels like it's going to be a super powerful song. I feel like it's going to have a lot of success for me, and I also feel like it's going to help a lot of people in the struggle, that we all go through.
Sure.
It's just, I'm super proud of the new production. That'll be released very soon, the new version of I Believe.
That's great, and I hope both of those things happen. I hope it blows up for you, and I hope it helps a lot of people. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Hey, so you grew up in Trenton, as we said, and I'm assuming from the bio, Trenton. Where the hell is that? That's like near Pennsylvania. Is that the capital, right? Oh, I thought the Meadowlands was the capital of New Jersey. No, just kidding. Now, like when you're from New York, you just don't know anything about anything outside of New York. It's awful. Thank God I moved to Florida. I learned a little bit more.
It's like, okay, if you were in Philadelphia, it would take you an hour north on 95 to get there, maybe 45 minutes. It's Trenton, New Jersey is the capital of New Jersey, but it's not a super, bustling town. We have some great art there, some great artists. It's something in the water. The musicians around here that I work with, some of them are just so amazing. But anyhow, yeah, I grew up in suburbs of Trenton. I was born in Trenton, New Jersey. My dad worked, in the area, and that's where we stay. I did migrate. I moved around a lot, but I kind of came back to the general area back here. It's close to everything.
That's very cool. Childhood was difficult, I would imagine.
Yeah, I did. And I don't, when people read my bio, I think that they understand. My parents loved me. They were well-intending people. It was a very turbulent, existence and without very much money, and hard to break out of the local area particular area I was in. for me, there's so much nepotism in this business, and people, you have to know people. And for me, that wasn't the circumstance. I did not do that. I came up and just kept saying, here I am, here's what I'm meant to do. And, and eventually this is such a short version of the story when I write the books. I have to wait for everyone to pass away. But when I write it.
When I do.
This will be better explained. But I met people, and I always, kept plugging, and I met the right people in the area that led to the next people, and it was kind of like that. But it was a struggle, and without the money and just a lot of chaos. But I will say that as a songwriter, I think that's important. I think you have to go through things to be able to write songs that are relevant and pertinent and helpful to the world. That's why we're here. Yeah. It's not like we're living in a vacuum. We're writing these songs, and even if they're autobiographical, it's not to say this is what me. It's to say this happened to me. I'm sure someone out there is hearing it, and you're not alone. I'm not alone. You're not alone. That's what music does. So
let me ask you this, and you do not have to answer it. I had a really chaotic upbringing too, and one of the things that impacted me is I tended to make decisions without even realizing it that the decision I made would tend to lead towards us. I'd make a decision that was a more stressful environment than.
Oh, you thrive on your adrenaline.
Well, no, but unconsciously I would just pick I would never think about which decision is less stressful. I'd somehow just pick the thing that was more difficult than the easier thing, because I think that's what I was like, my comfort zone was. Did you ever have some of that?
A little bit, enough to know what you're talking about. Yeah. Enough to know what you're talking about. I think that's something that I consciously had to watch out for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why it was a tendency.
Yeah.
I'm trying to streamline things. I think that takes time, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm older now, so
do you find when you surround yourself with people that are a little more like that have maybe a little more well-adjusted situation where they didn't go through quite those things, I think it helps me to be around them. And I think that my crazy, chaotic creativity helps them. So my team, a lot of my people on my team are maybe not crazy, quite as sparky and creative, but they are a little more grounded. So I think I've trained myself, or like you said, maybe not consciously, I'm more inclined to choose a simpler, more efficient route.
Yeah, less stress. That's what I always like.
Less stress.
I always go for the decision, which less stress now, but I never did. And when I realized it,
I'm not that good. I got to learn from you.
No, I'm a lot older than you. Believe me, there's no wisdom. It's just mileage. It's just I've made more mistakes than you have, so that's it. So you knew pretty much early on that you wanted to play music for a living and be a guitar player and sing.
From 4 years old. And I don't think many people can say that they knew what they wanted to do for that long.
No,
Is that like a calling, like a vocation, like being a nun?
No, I get it.
But I mean, I quit for 25 minutes. I remember I was really, really mad. I was really, really mad. I was having a big argument with one of my bandmates, and this press person came in that was supposed to come, and surprisingly, we invited them. And all of a sudden, when that person walked out, because we were like on stage arguing at a local place, and then my bandmate was like, "See, now you've missed your opportunity." I said, "Well, you know what? I quit." So I quit, and I quit for a whole 25 minutes. It felt like a weight lifted off of me. And then this was like a while ago, and then all of a sudden, I said, all right, it's time to go back on. I was 10 minutes. I was back on stage. That was the end of it. And I never quit since.
It was like an emotional cigarette break or something.
Yes. Yeah. Like, where was I really going to go? What was I really going to do?
That's all right. Everybody has that. So, what were some of the bigger surprises for you when you first started playing professionally about the business end of the music business?
I started playing professionally locally when I was like 14. So, I mean, as far as professionally, like I'm getting a check, I'm with the musicians union at the time. I'm not with that right now, but I was playing technically professionally. So that back then I was just happy to be playing because I think I kind of sucked. I mean, not really compared to maybe people my age, but compared to the people I was playing with who were like 25, 27,
sure.
I had a lot to learn. So I was just happy to be playing. Once I got into, there's different levels of professional. And once I got like on bigger stages, tours, stuff like that, where it's really competitive, I think I just, what was I surprised about?
It could be good or bad. Doesn't have to be, negative.
Yeah.
It could be anything like pleasantly surprised.
I don't know that I was that surprised. I kind of always pictured myself doing it, even when I was a kid, even the bad stuff, like I pictured myself having a great time on stage, or I pictured myself arguing with, an agent or a manager or something. I used to do that, like play in the bathtub, like, call you, it's not, I used to play like the game, like I was mad at my agent or something. Like I mapped this out since the time I was little. So there wasn't a whole lot that I was surprised about. I am surprised that music has become such a competitive, the contests and I just, when I was coming up, like my mom listened to hippie music, listened to like Neil Young. If Neil Young was on one of those shows right now, he'd be kicked off. I mean, it was subjective. It was like, it didn't have to be perfect. It had to be, no one was competing. Everyone was given a part of the puzzle, and contributing something different to the musical world. And some people were moved by one artist. Some people were moved by a different type. Right. It wasn't right or wrong. It wasn't better or worse. It was just different. And, you found what you like. I don't know. I'm surprised that the music business went that route.
What do you mean competitive? Like
all the contest shows on TV.
Oh, yeah.
People making people cry when they go on to sing something from their heart, or letting one person decide you're good. What? There's like how many billions of people?
Okay.
Yeah. Where did this happen? Back in the day, it was like my mom's day when she was a hippie chick. That's just not how it was. You had all these different artists, rock and country and folk. I don't know. That surprised me.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I never thought of that, but it's almost like they present it as if, well, if you get in, if you don't get in, then there's no room for your music, which is not. Yeah. It's not true. That's like saying if you make $10, somebody else loses $10. That's not the way money works. It's not the way music works. Yeah, I never thought.
It's not
of
the way happiness. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a very competitive. Things are just so. I mean, to think that the music business, the thing that brings people together, could actually buy onto this whole competitive, better than, who's prettier, who's this. It's disgraceful. It really is. It's supposed to be the antithesis of that. It's supposed to be the thing that soothes you after your competitive day, or you know what I mean. It's not supposed to be stressful like that.
But I think the people that music soothes don't really. Maybe they're not. I know I'm not. I don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
Right. Isn't it surprising how many people do pay attention to it?
Yeah, I get. I don't.
Right. That's my surprise with it. That's what
that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me because I know. From being in sales for 20-something years, I know people do what other people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You're right.
It's not necessarily like their choice. It's like, hey, everybody's watching this. Let's watch it.
Yeah, you're absolutely
so I think
right.
some of that might be at play. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
You keep saying I'm right. God, I'm gonna actually think I know something after this.
Well, I'm glad I'm making you feel good. I'm not doing it for that reason, but you probably know a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any? Maybe like everybody pays tuition in our careers, and I was wondering if you would be comfortable to share maybe one or two mistakes you might have made along the way and what lessons you learned from them.
Oh God, these are hard. Hold on. I want to answer this. I like this question. It's hard. What mistakes have I made? Speaking in business arenas, speaking a little bit before, I think. This business is any business that is important, but I think with all these different personalities and everyone, we all have we have to have some kind of ego or, some kind of drama and passion and a lot of fiery personalities. And sometimes I think I need to just think before I go with passion, Yeah,
that's hard to do, believe me. That's another thing. Age. That's the only thing that shut me up. I was like, maybe I should take a breath before. And now I'm telling my kids to do the same thing, which is, oh my God. But anyway, it is what it is.
It's important in any business. But as far as mistakes I don't know. I always feel prepared. I try my very best. A couple of times I've made musical mistakes. Maybe started a song in the wrong key. Maybe I just beat myself up too much. Sometimes when I record something, and then you think you get better all the time. So you have to remember that. You record something and then a month later when you're putting the finishing touches on it, it's not like baking a cake. It's like a month later. Yeah. You're like, oh God, why don't I just scrap the whole vocal and do it over? Sometimes I've done that to myself, beat myself up. And I think that's useless form of energy because this business takes so much energy.
Yeah. But it's also, it's like a blessing and a curse because, the people that beat themselves up, their standards are higher, and it allows you to perform at a higher level, and not just performance, but probably conduct your whole life at a higher level,
Yeah.
So it's just one of those tough things that I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
How about advice? If you had to go back and give the younger Lisa advice, and assuming you were open to listening, what would you have told yourself to make your life easier?
Maybe when I was a kid, just stay a little more focused as a young kid. Like I said, I didn't have like a stage parents and people taking me to, trying to guide me like that. I don't think I did too lousy of a job.
No,
and I think some of my
great.
partying that I did was helpful because, like I said, it helped me write. It helped me experience life. But I guess if let's say Lisa was my daughter, I guess I would tell her to, maybe study a little harder, maybe stay a little more on the straight and narrow in the early teen ages.
Sure. Man, how does that?
After that, I knuckled down.
Everybody pretty much parties, I think. I mean, it's like telling someone to, put money in an IRA when they're 13. It's just
this is true. You can't think of that. Oh, I have another one. This is really good advice that my management tells me all the time. If you get 25 great comments or reviews, embrace them. Rest on your laurels. Don't look at the 26th one mixed in there that was shitty and just dwell on it. Like at night, first of all, who even knew if it was right or wrong? Like, it might have just been crap. But I mean, I just think artists, me, myself, I think we tend to do that. Yeah. I think it's a shame. We work so hard. We get all this great feedback. And then this one person, like the fly in the ointment, and then we just dwell on this terrible negative thing. So that's what I would tell younger Lisa. Just try not to do that. Yeah. Read it, deal with it, let it go.
Let it go. I think it's good advice. Plus, I always think the people, who has time to write negative shit? I mean,
yeah, right. Who are these people?
I mean, it's got to be some dude living in his mom's basement or something like that, and he's 45 or 50 years. I just don't get a lot of that stuff.
Right.
Man, if I ever had time to do that, I'd tell my wife to shoot me.
Yeah, negative stuff.
Yeah, it's totally negative. Guitar wise, let's talk about just gear for a few minutes. What is your primary guitar? What's your main guitar you play?
My primary guitar is my
There she goes.
My Ovation.
Yeah, that's right. That's a beautiful guitar.
Thank you. This was run over by an ice truck. If you see right here, it's got a big chip. I don't know if you can see the headstock.
I can.
But this one has been through a lot. I actually got this when I did have an endorsement with Ovation when I went on my very first tour with Blues Traveler. They sent it to me. And I love it. And then a couple of years ago, I was at a festival. It's such a long story, but the headstock got run over. And I had a really terrific luthier say, "Don't call us, we'll call you." And he left it in a vise for 6 months, and it plays better than ever.
That's really cool.
I write on these guitars, my chord progressions, everything is really based upon the fact that the way the neck is on this. I've had people show up at rehearsal and say, "Oh, well, she's not going to play a C sharp minor on my TV show theme is called Kitchen. She's not going to play it. She'll play it with a bar, with a capo." No, because no one would write on a big Taylor the way you write on an Ovation. It's just a different animal. You try to do all those bar chords. It's just not going to. Taylor's got this great resonance, sustain. You're going to play these open chords. On this kind of guitar, I have a tendency, you're not going to do that kind of stuff. But this neck is just, it feels like it's part of me now. I've played it for so long. It doesn't have the resonance that maybe a Taylor has, but the good thing about it, when I'm on stage and I'm touring, it sound checks in 10 minutes because it doesn't feedback and all that. So
I'm just impressed that you said a truck ran over it and it's it's still living. That's
Look, you can't.
I'm still trying to get over that.
The fact now it's showing me that you can keep up with me.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. Oh my God. Do you have a number 2 or a number 3 after that?
I have a lot of them. Yeah. And I do play an Alvarez that I absolutely love. That's when I just want to sit and get all that resonance, that big body, and just write songs that are maybe alt country stuff and just some folk stuff. And I love playing that. I don't play electric guitar. I mean, this acoustic electric, I don't play it a lot. I do have a Dan Electro bass that I play with a side project called Girl Band that I love.
Look at you, Pinky Tuscadero from Trenton.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. Any players that influence your playing that people would be surprised to hear?
Oh God, probably any player. I mean, my favorite guitarists are like, Eric Clapton, David Gilmour. I like someone who has like a ton of expression in just two notes.
Oh, I know.
I love
Gilmour's.
That. Yeah, and I love that kind of stuff. Am I saying his right name correctly? Waddy Wachtel, that played with Stevie Nicks, and Tom Petty has influenced me a lot. And I say Neil Young has influenced me a whole lot on my guitar playing.
Yeah, I would imagine.
So that's probably not unexpected, though. That's probably expected.
He did so much to like bring acoustic guitar into just everything, and he wrote so many hits. And
thank God.
Yeah,
he changed the world.
He really did. Do you remember the first CD or record you purchased?
No, but I was surrounded. I don't, but I was surrounded by. I still play vinyl here, but I was surrounded by vinyl, and old country stuff. I would go over to my grandparents. My grandfather would have all this old, like ancient country stuff on vinyl, and it totally influenced my playing, my singing, my chord progressions. We used to sit up and listen to that. My grandma would be like, "Are you guys going to go to bed?" And we would just sit up and listen to it.
That's just you and your granddad.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Very cool.
Yeah, he wasn't a singer, but he used to do, he could sing a little bit. He used to do a duet with me that he learned when he was in the service and taught that to me, and I learned it on guitar. He knew a guitarist that used to play for him when they were down and out, and I learned to play it, and we used to sing it together when he got older and stuff. So
that's really cool. That's a nice story.
Thanks.
Desert Island Discs, top 3.
Oh, Tumbleweed Connection, Elton John.
That is such a great record.
Yeah, thank you. It is. Disraeli Gears, Cream. God, there's so many. I'm going to forget like a bazillion. Now I'm just like I'm in that classic rock mood. But, oh God. All right, I'll go with Tom Petty in honor. Damn the Torpedoes.
All right. That's a good
There's
3.
so many. That's like impossible, right?
Yeah. No, it's just like for now, but you can't think of that like for permanent. That's ridiculous.
That's like this week, you always remember what you're listening to currently.
Right. Pretty much. All righty. What's the most important? It's always funny when I talk to people from New York, in the New York area, the interviews are like half the time.
Because I talked quickly.
Everybody from New York talks.
Sorry.
No, it's great. I no apology. I'm just saying it's really funny.
Should I talk like I'm from further down south?
Do you know Jane Getter?
No.
She's a guitarist. She's got a jazz trio, Jane Getter Trio. And I think she lives in the Bronx. And it was funny. I looked up on her interview and I was like, oh, wow. It was so quick. It was just, it's because it's, New York, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is.
I've slowed down. I kind of, I know.
When I go on tour and I go down south, I slow down too. And you're speaking, everything's got to get in that cadence. And then when I get up, I drive back up around Washington. That's when everyone's like, in front of me. I'm like, okay, I'm home.
Most important things you've learned about yourself through your career experience and life in general.
Oh, be kind to people and be kind to yourself. I'm still working on that one. And that everyone, here's an important thing I learned. Everyone has similar experiences at some time, whether you're talking to somebody super famous or you're talking to someone who's down and out, maybe not even in the music business. There are similar experiences that we all go through, and they connect us. And I think I learned that as a songwriter, because when you're telling a story maybe about someone passing away or whatever, that isn't just for rock musicians. That's for corporate executives. That's for, big world leaders. That's for someone living in the inner city. That's for everybody.
Sure.
And we're all similar on some level. So that's what I've learned.
Very cool. I agree with you there. I kind of think I know the answer to this one, but rule breaker or rule follower?
Rule breaker.
I almost didn't even ask you that. I thought it was too apparent, but I said, all right.
Well, not for the hell of it, though. Not like a rebel without a cause.
Yeah.
But, I weigh it out. If it makes sense, I'll follow it. If it doesn't, I won't.
I don't think I don't think you can really I think it's hard to get anywhere without doing that, to be honest.
Yeah. And you got to think outside the box, right? Yeah. I mean, even the TV show and stuff like that, everybody's trying to get there the same way. Hey, people say I'm good on TV. Maybe I'll do like a TV show, you got to think outside the box.
That'd be great. Yeah. This is a tough question. What do you like most about yourself?
That I'm genuine and that I really care about others. I'm empathetic. I like that I'm empathetic, and I truly am.
That's really cool. I figured you have to be, because you're involved in a lot of charitable things that you don't. Yeah. Usually people do that out of sincerity.
Yeah.
It'd be like bad karma not doing that out of sincerity. How about flip side? If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Not so stressed, and I just want to not give a shit. I want to be that person who really forgets something. You know what I mean? Just like, I can't forget anything. Like, who are these people? How are they so lucky? Like, I checked the stove 15 times. I could check that my rodents are all put, where are they, my pets? It's like, everything's check, the calendars check. I'd hop out of bed. Wouldn't it be nice to just be one of these people like, I flaked, I'd live like 20 years longer.
Is weed legal up there?
Soon. Yeah, soon. Maybe that'll help.
There you go.
There you go. There's my solution. Thank you.
Oh, Sheesh. Man. Tell me something about yourself people would be surprised to hear or might find a little odd.
Oh, that I am a rodent mom. My children are my pets, and they are rodents. And I'm like the rodent whisperer. I can train a rodent. I can calm a rodent. When I take my rodents to the exotic pet vet, she's like, oh, your rodents are so well behaved. Like, I dress one of them. Like, I'm totally into my pets.
How many do you have?
Well, right now, the two. I had one pass away. And the one that will probably be with me the longest right now is Cadence Louise. And she's 3.5. She is hairless Cavi, which is like a hairless guinea pig, like a chocolate color. Oh, and cool. She is just the dearest little being. So that's what's weird about me.
Hairless guinea pig.
Cadence Louise.
Cadence Louise. It sounds like there's a song in there somewhere. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's pretty weird, right? Unexpected.
I don't judge weird. It is unexpected. Yeah, who the hell am I to judge weird? But yeah, it's unexpected. We have like a bunch of cats. I think that's weird. Oh. So my kids, they all bring them home. They think my wife's like the Statue of Liberty of cats. Give us, you're tired, you're poor, and you're hungry.
I love that.
Yeah. Sorry.
What happened?
I love that. You try to go to bed at night with freaking cats all over the place.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
God. Person who's had the biggest influence on you, both, could be two people, musically and personally.
Oh God. I don't know that I can do the musically one. I just don't. I wasn't like, there was always people in school and all that they would dress like the person or like they were into one particular thing. I just don't know that I can narrow that down to one. I really don't. I feel like I was saying, I really feel like it's a whole community where each person I liked contributed something. And that was what made it cool. Cause I was always kind of like different or, considered odd when I was a kid, maybe bullied. And it was cool to see that even when people were so unique in the music business, they used that to become successful. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just the one band that I was into. It was like, there was going to be a place for me, So I don't know that I can say, I do say that music has saved my life and the whole experience of music has been what I've idolized, and that's been my driving force and it's kept me going as a kid. And it's kept me from, if I did slip into a wrong path, I got out quick. But I can't say it was one person particularly musically.
Wow, I can't believe you were bullied. That's so like kind of sad.
God. Oh my God. When I was a kid, being different was so not cool, where at least for me, it didn't work out. When I stayed the course, as I grew up and got older, people now think it's interesting, but it wasn't interesting back then. It was horrible. It was bad experience for me. School was a bad experience. At home, there wasn't stability.
Right.
No one came over. We were weird. It was.
Yeah, that
bad.
I get.
I couldn't wait to get out. I think you need that stability at home. So when you get home, you got somebody to say, look, it's okay. We love you. Yeah. And everything's stable. So I was bullied. But as far as personally, I think my two favorites are my dad, whose work ethic was amazing. And I think that also saved me my work ethic. I'm a little bit of a workaholic. I love it. And I think the other person, one of my management team, Hal B. Selzer, is an amazing individual. He believes in my music. He stays grounded in the business sense of it. So those two are my favorite influences in my life.
That's nice. Favorite place you've traveled? New
Orleans.
Was it because of the first tour? The sentimentality?
Oh, no, I have been there many times. My dad would work down there, and I was coincidental that I went down on my first tour to start there at House of Blues. But I love New Orleans, and I think you love it or you don't. It just hits you or it doesn't, but it just hits me. I feel like maybe there's past lives. I don't know if there is. I could have had one, in New Orleans.
If somebody had one, I think it was you. That's for sure.
Thank you, I guess.
Toughest decision you've had to make or hardest thing you've had to do?
Well, my dad passed away.
Sorry.
Yeah, very early. And, you always hear if this happens, call this person at the credit union, do this, go in the drawer where the papers are, that you don't want to talk about. And that was early for me, so sorry then I was.
Most important lesson your business has taught you?
Perseverance. Oh, God, perseverance. Even when you're not in the mood, just keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. I guess I still call it fake it till you make it, If you're into it, cool, go to work. If you're not, go to work. Just do it.
Yeah. No, that's true. You have to and then eventually something actually clicks and it's like, holy wow, this is for real.
Yeah, and then it won't click again. It's not, it's going to be like, especially self-employed like me, it's going to be good, it's going to be bad, it's going to be up and down, and you just go whether it's good or bad. Go. That's and it'll be good again. When it sucks, it'll be good again.
Last question. Biggest change in your personality over the last, 7 to 10 years, and how much of that change is deliberate? How much is just a natural part of aging?
Oh God, I think there's two things. I think I'm even more driven, but somehow I found a way to have a life outside of that. Because I wasn't having enough balance, and it didn't affect me negatively. I'm even more driven at work, but my thoughts in my head sometimes go to other things. Do you know what I mean? My friends, my pets, my loved ones, because there is another side of it. And without balance, I was just going to crash and burn.
And I'm really happy to hear that, because it's tough to find balance when you're like driven, but it's the pain of not finding it is greater than the pain of hitting the pause button and, forcing yourself to do it. So good for you.
That's good to hear. Yes. So it was a good choice. Yes.
Good for you. Well, my experience anyway, for whatever that's about. Hey, let's talk about, I want to tell people where to find you, but you have some charity stuff that you're involved with. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Holiday Express is a great charity. Everyone should look it up. I didn't get to do as much with the charitable stuff this year as I wanted to. Just this year was crazy for me. But I mean, this year meaning the Christmas season. A lot of Holiday Express stuff is at the Christmas season, but definitely check them out. And I will be back with them soon. holidayexpress.org. They work a lot in local stuff, schools, people with various disabilities, and places that can't afford like a Christmas party. They'll bring all the music there, the Grinch, everything for the kids, and not just for kids, for adults as well. And also do big fundraising events at places like Count Basie Theater in Red Bank in New Jersey, and just all over the place. We've done Blythedale Children's Hospital in New York on the radio and stuff. People like Rob Thomas and Cyndi Lauper were there and were involved in that. So Bruce Springsteen is involved in that charity. It's a very big charity that a person named Tim McClune, that doesn't have to give of his time, just does it because he's an amazing person. And it brings a lot of happiness to people. So definitely check that out. The other one is Musicians on Call, that is through WXPN. You can check them out at musicians.call.org and WXPN.org. And that's the radio station that's out of Philly that's so supportive to a lot of lead singer-songwriters, guitarists, singers. And Amos Lee's involved in that, a lot of other musicians, myself. And we go around and perform a lot at hospitals. I go into the hospitals and go to the different, like I work a lot at St. Christopher's Children's Hospital for Children in Philadelphia. And we go around to the different oncology, burn victims, different things, and just sing right at their bedside.
That's really nice.
Yeah, bring it to them and their family. And, it's a great organization.
Very cool.
Healing. It heals. Music heals. It really does. In hospitals and stuff, it really heals.
So it's holidayexpress.org and musiciansoncall.org and wxpn.org.
Yes.
And check out Lisa online. She's got a really robust website. It's lisabouchelle.com. I'll spell her last name. Robust. Bouchelle. It's not a word I use often. It's like an It's like an SAT word. I don't know what the hell came out of me. So check out Lisa Bouchelle's Bouchelle. Also sign up to her newsletter list because she is touring starting February and March, and this way she'll let you know where she's playing. You can also find her on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and all the links are at her website, lisabouchelle.com. Hey, I feel like this went by too quick, but any final words of wisdom or anything like that?
Oh, no, just like you say, check me out on tour because, when I go out, we go out with a bunch of great people I open for, and I do some solo, some band. I'll be out in the spring. So can everybody come out and say hey to me and check out the website. Have a happy holiday? It's going to be on later.
Well, you could say it anyway. It's going to be on later, but have a happy holiday, even next year. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. Peace and music. And I love your show. And thank you so much for having me be part of it.
Thanks, Lisa. I appreciate your time. And you have a happy holiday too.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this interview, please share it with a friend on your social media channels. We appreciate your support. Thanks so much to Lisa Bouchelle for spending time with us. I really appreciate it. Please support Lisa. Check her out online at lisabouchelle.com. Make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com. Sign up to get on our newsletter list so you and I can connect. And most important, remember that happiness is a choice. So choose wisely. Be nice, go play your guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I'm out. We hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, subscribe to the Everyone Loves Guitar podcast, and you can do this online at everyonelovesguitar.com or on iTunes. And if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star positive review. The more 5-star reviews we get, the higher our show ranks, and higher rankings mean we get to continue speaking with cool, interesting guests on our show. We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, keep playing your guitar and have fun making music.